Yo, what's going on, people? Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for me. So, I just finished watching the Mandingo Hug Fest, is what I'll call it. Wilder Chisora, it was what I expected it to be. It was two old, washed up uncles, throwing punches, It's like when your uncles have too much to drink at the barbecue. I'm And that's all it was. It was a crap fight. Both of them are washed, and Wilder's power really is gone. Like, it's crazy. You don't think that guys will lose their power, but he really only had speed. And I always used to argue this with people who would say Wilder was the hardest punch at heavyweight ever. I'm like, no, he's not. Like, he was never as powerful as a Foreman or a Liston or even a Lennox Lewis even. Because Wilder's power was based in his speed, right? Any man over 200 pounds is dangerous, as we know. But the difference between a lot of Wilder's punches and the average heavyweights was that he could deliver it with such speed. But now he might still have some of that bomb, but there's no delivery system. There's no missile, right? So the guy clearly has just lost his speed. But Derek Chisora, he's just, a street fighter. He throws a lot of sloppy shots, a lot of slapping hooks, no footwork, poor head movement. He's like a homeless man's Joe Frazier, with the shit bobbing and weaving and all that. But the fight, it was what it was. Both guys hurt each other. There was a lot of weird moments with them almost tumbling over the ropes, and the referee just kind of never seeming to be able to take control of the fight. There's always that fine line, in my opinion, as a fan, between the referee taking control of the fight and the referee getting in the way. And this guy, he just completely lost control from the opening bell. Granted, he had an unruly duo in front of him, but I thought the referee could have done a better job controlling the fight. But the fight was what it was. Where do they go from here? Who knows? Who knows? But if you're Chisora, it's time to hang it up. If you can't beat this totally washed, totally diminished version of Wilder, who got starched by Gilles Jean and schooled by Joseph Parker, and you went life and death with this guy and still lost, it's over. I hope Chisora retires. I'll check out the post-fight commentary, see if he gives a speech and whatnot. We can see where things go from there. But for Wilder, Anthony Joshua was there. Who knows? People could say it was trying to maybe revive that Wilder fight. I know he's really tight with Derek Chisora, so he's there to support him as well. But would I still want to see a Wilder Joshua fight? I wouldn't be mad at it. I would watch it. But the fight's just completely lost its luster. That's one of those fights that's just almost a shame. It's like Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe not fighting each other. It kind of has that kind of vibe where, had they fought in their primes, that could have been a special fight. Could have been one of those memorable heavyweight bouts, but because of boxing politics, because of greed, and we know who was responsible for that fight not happening, and it was totally on Deontay Wilder for turning down $100 million because he thought Tyson Fury was sweet. He go knock Tyson Fury out and then come back to the negotiating table with Hearn and Joshua and ask for more money, but he played himself and was hoisted on his own petard. So the fight, never happened because, Wilder played politics, the PBC crowd played politics, and the fight just slipped out of our grasp, and it's unfortunate, but I would watch it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I wouldn't watch it. It'll still be interesting, but I think Joshua will win by a devastating KO. Even this totally washed, diminished version of Joshua, I think would dispatch of Wilder probably in 7 or 8 rounds. That's just kind of standard for AJ. Unless you're just totally ass. And, I take that back. Wilder is totally ass. Is he better than Ngannou? That's a real question. That's a real question. Francis Ngannou did better against Tyson Fury than Wilder. People could say, oh, Fury was fat and he was out of shape and he didn't prepare. And Tyson Fury, fat and out of shape, should be able to knock out a debutante. I don't care if the dude, had some fights in the UFC. You should be able to knock out a debutante, excuse me. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Is he better than Ngannou? I don't know. That's a real question. I can't say that with confidence, So if Wilder isn't better than Ngannou, maybe that fight goes the same way. But again, AJ's not the same. Both of them have seen the shadow realm now. They've both been knocked out cold, so they're no longer invincible. I'm getting pissed off thinking about this fight because it's like, dude, if they had just set their differences and greed to the side, especially Wilder, if Wilder and his team had just been sensible, man, what a fight that could have been. That could have been an epic fight, That could have been the legit Mandingo Slugfest with 2 prime Mandingo bucks throwing hands, full of confidence, full of beans. Both of them probably juiced to the gills. Man, that would have been a fun fight. That's such a shame. I lament that fight not happening, but I'll still watch it. I'm a glutton for punishment, like most boxing fans. I'll still eat the slop they serve up, because I love the sport. I'm addicted to it. But who do I think will win? Joshua easily. If they make that fight cool. I don't want to see the Usyk fight. I'm sick of hearing Usyk fighting bums. Like this Rico Verhoeven guy, he was there at the fight. And he was trying to say, oh, well, guys, you just don't know my credentials. Rico, I know who you are, bro. I watch kickboxing. I watch Glory. Credit to Rico Verhoeven. He's a tough dude, big, strong guy. He can fight. He's got balls. But he ain't a boxer. His hands are super suspect. So that's not a competitive fight. Wilder, Usyk, not a competitive fight. Alexander Usyk needs to fight his mandatories. He needs to fight a Talma. That's what he needs to do. But Usyk's been on BS since he fought Dubois. I don't know what's that it's all about. But no, I don't want to see Wilder, Usyk, Wilder, AJ. That's acceptable. Just given where they're at in their careers. Wilder's coming off a win. Joshua is looking like he's at the end of his career, whatever this new bromance between him and Usyk. I don't care, bro. Like, that doesn't factor in at all. in my equation. Usyk can't go in there and fight for AJ, you know. So we'll see, you know. But bottom line, this fight, it was what I thought it was going to be. It was interesting, funny at times. You know, I found myself laughing, but then frustrating with all the hugging and the referee just kind of getting in the way. You know, you want to see a fight have a flow. You want to see it have a flow. You don't want it to, you know, just kind of stop and start and just kind of have this jerking kind of motion. You know, it's like riding in a car that just needs service. You know, you want the car to just flow, get from point A to point B, and we didn't get that flow. So, you know, congrats to Wilder. You get the win. Chisora, it's time to hang him up. You should have retired like 10 fights ago, but credit to you. You built a brand. Maybe he'll run for mayor. You know, he seems to be kind of one of those coconut types that dick rides far right parties. So, you know, maybe you'll run for mayor of London or something, or parliament with Farage, you know. But, you know, the fight was what it was, but I've gone on long enough. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. And like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Peace.